Are you exhausted from watching everyone around you succeed while you stay stuck, feeling forgotten by fate as opportunities pass you by, questioning if your patience is foolishness and your waiting is wasted? Imagine discovering that true patience is not passive suffering, but active faith, that staying still when everyone rushes forward takes more courage than you realize, and that those who wait with purpose receive rewards beyond what those who rush could ever grasp. This story reveals the profound difference between patient wisdom and desperate action, showing you how one man's unwavering patience transformed seeming defeat into ultimate victory. If you're in a season of waiting that feels unbearable, please like and share this story with someone holding on by a thread. Subscribe to the Wisdom Tales for stories that restore faith when patience is tested. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where ambition drove men to climb over one another and success was measured by speed, there lived a humble stoneworker named Thomas. He was 40 years old, skilled with his hands, honest in his work, and known throughout the village for one unusual quality: his extraordinary patience. Thomas worked in the royal palace, carving stone for walls, floors, and monuments. He had been there for 15 years, doing the same work, receiving the same modest wage, living in the same small cottage at the edge of the village. He never complained. He never pushed for advancement. He simply did his work with quiet excellence and waited. But everyone around Thomas was moving forward. His younger colleagues received promotions. Apprentices who started after him became masters. Workers less skilled than him were given important projects. And Thomas? He remained where he was, carving stones in the corner of the workshop, seemingly forgotten. People in the village began to mock him. "Poor Thomas," they whispered, "so patient that he's let life pass him by. He could have been someone important by now if he had just pushed harder, demanded more, fought for himself." His younger brother, Marcus, was especially frustrated. Marcus had become a successful merchant through aggressive ambition and ruthless competition. One day he came to Thomas's workshop and said, "Brother, why do you waste your life waiting? You have talent. You could be wealthy like me if you stopped being so passive. Patience is just another word for fear." Thomas looked up from the stone he was carving and smiled gently. "Perhaps, or perhaps patience is another word for trust." Marcus shook his head in disgust. "Trust in what? The world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who take. You're being left behind, Thomas. Wake up before it's too late." Thomas returned to his work, saying nothing more. But that night, alone in his cottage, doubt crept into his heart. Had he been foolish? Had he wasted his life waiting for something that would never come? Everyone else had moved forward. Why hadn't he? He fell asleep troubled, questioning everything he had believed. The next morning, Thomas arrived at the palace to find it in chaos. The king had called an emergency assembly. All the workers gathered in the great hall, confused and anxious. The king stood before them, his face grave. "I have received devastating news. The cathedral we have been building for 10 years has a fatal flaw in its foundation. The lead architect made a critical error. The entire structure is unstable. If we do not fix it immediately, the cathedral will collapse and decades of work will be lost." A heavy silence filled the room. The king continued, "We need someone who can assess the damage, redesign the foundation, and oversee the reconstruction. But it cannot be just anyone. It must be someone with deep knowledge of stonework, someone patient enough to work carefully without rushing, someone who values precision over speed. This project will take years. It will be tedious, unglamorous, but it is the most important work in this kingdom." The master builders looked at each other nervously. They had achieved their positions through ambition and speed, but this job required something different, something they had forgotten in their rush to the top. Patience, precision, quiet excellence. The king's eyes scanned the room and landed on Thomas, standing quietly in the back. "You, the stoneworker in the corner, what is your name?" Thomas stepped forward, his heart pounding. "Thomas, your majesty." The king studied him. "I have seen you working for years. You never rush. You never cut corners. Every stone you lay is perfect. Tell me, Thomas, would you take on this task?" Thomas felt the weight of every eye in the room. His brother's words echoed in his mind. "You're being left behind." But then he felt something deeper, a quiet knowing. This was why he had waited. This was his moment. "Yes, your majesty," Thomas said steadily. "I will." The room erupted in whispers. The ambitious master builders were stunned. How could this nobody, this forgotten stoneworker, be given the kingdom's most important project? But the king nodded with certainty. "Then it is yours. You will have full authority, unlimited resources, and my complete trust. Save the cathedral, Thomas. The kingdom depends on it." Thomas bowed deeply and left the hall. Behind him, he heard Marcus's voice, shocked and confused. "But he's just been waiting all these years." The king's response silenced the room. "Exactly. While others were climbing, Thomas was preparing. While others were rushing, he was mastering. He didn't wait passively, he waited purposefully. And now his patience has brought him to the one place no amount of ambition could have reached." For the next 5 years, Thomas worked on the cathedral. It was difficult, meticulous, exhausting. But he never rushed. He laid each stone with the same care he had practiced for 15 years in obscurity. And when the cathedral was finally complete, it was magnificent. A masterpiece that would stand for centuries. The king honored Thomas before the entire kingdom. This man teaches us the difference between patience and passivity. He did not wait because he was afraid. He waited because he was preparing. And his reward came not when he demanded it, but when he was ready to receive it. Thomas was named Royal Master Builder, given a home in the palace, and ensured prosperity for the rest of his life. But more than wealth or title, Thomas received something priceless, the knowledge that his waiting had not been wasted. Years later, a young worker approached Thomas and said, "Master, I've been working here for 3 years and nothing has happened. Should I give up and push harder elsewhere?" Thomas smiled and said, "Tell me, are you working with excellence where you are?" "Yes," the young man said. "Then keep working, keep waiting, but wait actively. Perfect your craft, deepen your character, prepare yourself. Because patience is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing while everyone else rushes toward the wrong thing. Your time will come, not when you demand it, but when you're ready for it." Friends, true patience is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is the quiet strength of knowing that your time will come, and when it does, you will be prepared. While others rush and scramble and fight, you wait with purpose. And when your moment arrives, you will be ready for what they could never handle. Do not confuse delay with denial. Your patience is not being wasted. It is being invested. Trust the process. Your season is coming.